Hi everyone, and welcome to the Timmins Museum's virtual workshop series where we create crafts and we do art in the safety of our home. So this week we're going to be doing Pysanky eggs. And I'll show you everything you need to do to make them, and I'm going to give you a little bit of history on these beautiful eggs. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're gonna go over everything that you need for this workshop. So we've provided you with your own little Ukrainian kit, and inside you will find your colored dyes, you will find your beeswax, as well as your kiska. And inside that little bag, you'll notice this little wire. So that is to clean your kiska tool if it ends up getting clogged, which I can show you how to do. You should be fine for now. And I can actually give you a little close-up of your kiska. So you have the handle as well as a stainless steel tip on the end. And when you're using it, so just a little, I'll zoom in here. So that is our tool. And this tip is where you're putting the wax inside, and then you write your designs with that tip. So the wax will be coming out of there. So you're also going to need, you've also been provided with a candle. You're going to need a lighter to light your candle. You're going to need a pencil to do your designs. And then of course you're going to need your eggs. So with this kit, you will be able to create so many eggs. Even if you mix the dye, and if you do this in a mason jar, you can put a lid on and the dye will stay, like you could end up using it all month. I think you can make up to 6 dozen eggs with these dyes. I could be wrong. I don't know who's making that many eggs anyway, but you can do a lot, which is really fun. As you're testing, there's gonna be a lot of mistakes that you're gonna make. That's what's fun about it. And even mistakes with your designs as well as the colors. You'll also notice in your package that I've given you is color sequence. So there's different dyes that you should do in different orders, going from lightest to darkest. So you'll see with like experimenting, different colors and different effects that you can get. So just have fun and try out everything. And please send us pictures of your Pysanky eggs. So I'm gonna get started now on what else you actually need from your home. Okay, so now that we've gone over everything that's in our kit and everything that you're gonna need from your own home, we can get started. So I'm gonna be showing you one design in this video, but you don't have to copy me. You can do whatever design that you want to do. You've been provided with this step-by-step sheet that shows you how to do each one of the eggs. And you can follow any one of them. It shows you what to draw, what color to dip it in, so that can help you out in doing a number of eggs. These ones are a little more difficult, definitely more for adults. And then for kids that are doing this workshop, you so we have 2 different worksheets. So for the littlest of kids, so maybe like 8 years old, or if you're doing this with a parent and you're like 6 or 7, you can use this sheet to help you out. Choose what image you want to put on what side of your egg and then what color that you want to do it. So this will help you out. And if you're a little bit older, maybe 10 years old or something, and you want to design what each side of your egg looks like, and then choosing what colors, making sure that you're starting with the lightest. So those can help you out. There's also this other sheet too, another step-by-step guide. So use those if you want, because you're definitely going to be able to do more than one egg. And I'm just going to show you how to do one of them. Now you'll notice that there is a sequence that I've provided you with, and you'll notice in the slideshow as well that I've gone over this. You're gonna need to dye starting with the lightest to the darkest. You have to do it in that order or it's not gonna turn out. You do have this sheet, however, that I've provided in your kits as well, that's going to show you how, let's say if you do mess up and you wanna change something, or you have a color and you wanna make sure that you are able to, you know, have it in the yellow and will it turn red? This chart will help you out with that. But like I said, remember, a lot of mistakes are gonna happen. You can always wash the stuff off too, and just experiment, have fun. So we're gonna get started. The first step that you're gonna do is to prep your dyes. So I'll show you how we're gonna do. Okay, so to do your dyes, you're gonna get your packages out. You'll notice on the packet, it shows you exactly how to mix your dyes. So you're going to get a kettle, boil some water, and then get some heat-proof containers or bowls. Mason jars are really good, you know, because you can put the lid on and then use these to dye later on. And like maybe you want to do it 2 weekends in a row or 2 nights in a row, or you want to take a break. So it's good to do in mason jars, or you could just do it in a plastic container, or like I have mine in little styrofoam cups, the wide mouth ones, and they're deep enough to put or submerge an egg in it. So we're gonna do that first, because the reason why you want to do your dyes first is because they need to be cool before you dye your eggs. So that should be the first thing that you do, and then start with your design. So you're going to get your water, your vinegar, your measuring cups, and your tablespoon, and you're going to mix your dyes and then set those aside to cool, and then we'll get started on our design. Okay, so before we get started and before we handle our egg, make sure that you wash your hands really well. And the reason for that is just because the natural oils that are in your hands will transfer onto your egg, and then that would stop it or resist it from soaking in that dye. So make sure your hands are really clean, and then you're going to select your egg from your carton, and then using one of your spoons, you're gently going to submerge your egg. So make sure it just slides down gently into your vinegar and water bath. So that is just half and half of water and vinegar. So you're just letting that go in there and sit in there for a little bit. And just ensure that all of the egg has been submerged, and then we're just gonna remove it after it's been submerged. So then you take it out with your spoon, grab a piece of paper towel, and then you're going to pat the egg dry. Unfortunately, I got an egg with some writing on it. Okay, so now our egg is ready to go. So that vinegar just helps to take the dye better. So I have a little fluff on there, get rid of that. Okay, so now what your next step is going to be is to draw on your design. So you are able to use a pencil to lightly draw on your design. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this one. So you can follow along. So what you're gonna be doing, our first step is just that we're gonna draw on this design, exactly what you see. And whatever's in black is what's gonna show up white, because you're gonna draw it on, you're gonna apply the wax, and then you're going to dip it into yellow, and so on and so forth. We'll do our next steps. One thing do not use your eraser on your eggs. Okay, so gently and lightly draw your design on. So this is my first step I'm gonna do, and then I'll show you guys how to apply the wax. So just a little tip, I guess, on how to hold your egg. It is kind of hard to draw on something that is round. So you could use the surface of the table as well as just a little support from your hand to do your drawings, or you can hold the egg in the palm of your hand and do your drawings that way. I like to use the table surface for support for drawing, as well as when you're using your Kiska, because it'll keep your hand steady when you're drawing, I guess actually I should say, when you're writing. Okay, so it is Pysanky time. So now that our image is drawn on, I've only done one side just for this video to shorten it a little bit. So I've drawn the step 1 of our Pysanky egg. And now what you're gonna do is get a lighter and you are going to light your candle. Ensure that it works. All right, there we go. So now you're going to take your Kiska and hold the barrel of your Kiska. A lot of people will just hold it like a pencil because it is like you are going to be writing. So you are going to heat the barrel of the Kiska, and just by holding it above the flame for about 10 seconds. Okay, so you're just gonna count to 10. Holding your Kiska over top. And here I have just a chunk of beeswax that we've used here at the museum. Yours is a little sheets. So when you're scooping the wax into your barrel, make sure that you're scooping upwards, because if you don't, then the wax will leak outside of your barrel. I want to heat it a little bit more, scoop a little bit more in there. You want to be able to see your wax inside your barrel. So scoop some. Okay, so once I have some wax in there, it's melting. You can just do a little tap on whatever surface. I'm using this little tin just because I don't want to get wax on the table. You can do the similar thing too as well. So then once that's ready, you're ready to write. So like I said, you want to be able to use the surface of the table as kind of an anchor for you, and then you're just going to draw onto your wax onto your surface. Sometimes you'll notice it's gonna come out in little chunks. Can you see that little bead of wax? So those are, I guess, wax mistakes, and they really cannot be removed effectively. So although it may appear that all of the wax is scraped off, if you try to scrape it off, it will still resist the dye. So kind of think of a wax mistake as a design challenge that you can kind of try to work into your egg, your design that you're doing. So again, and just be careful that, and the reason why you're doing this with an adult as well, the children, is because you're working with a flame, and we don't want to start any fires. So you're just following the design. Once you run out of wax, heat it up again, the barrel, and you're just holding it over top of the flame. Scoop up some more wax so you can see it dripping out of the end. Okay, so follow along on the lines on your design. so cover all of those. I think I've told you all the tips so far, and then we'll do a dye bath. Ah, no. I'll try to work that in. And that's why you have a dozen eggs, just so you can have some practice, because you will mess up until you've really mastered the technique. Okay, so we have finished filling in our first layer of wax. So the pattern that you've done right now, so that pattern will remain white, and the wax protects that area from absorbing the dye. So right now that area is going to be white. So the next step that we are going to do is we're going to take our yellow dye bath, and we are going to submerge the egg gently into the bath. Now, depending, like some people, you'll keep it in there as long as you would like. The longer that you submerge it, the longer that it takes. The darker that the color will be. So for some dyes, it can be 30 seconds up to 3 to 5 minutes. So for us, we're just gonna let it sit in there for 30 seconds, and then we're going to pull it out. If you guys wanna keep it in there longer, go right ahead. So when you remove the egg, you make sure to have a paper towel ready. So you're not gonna be touching it. You're gonna take your spoon, you're gonna scoop the egg out, and you're going to you don't wanna pour the dye onto your onto your paper towel. So get the egg out, and then almost use the paper towel to pinch and grab the egg, and then the egg will remain inside of your cloth. And then you do not rub, you just pat dry. And then when it's thoroughly dry, we're gonna apply the next layer of wax. So let's just check out how, like, the color of our egg. So I kind of drew on, see if you can notice, my pencil, I did it a little too dark, you can tell. Okay, I'm gonna leave it in there for another 30 seconds, and then we'll remove the egg. I wanted to give you a little tip while we're waiting for that to dye, was that if you're having trouble with getting the wax out of your tip, just make sure you're reheating it between every time that you scoop a little bit of wax off. You're gonna reheat, and then you can write. If it ends up getting clogged, that's when you're gonna use the little wire that you found in your kit. So you'll just heat the wax that is in the Kiska so that it can come out, and then you're gonna take your wire and you're gonna stick it through to remove any debris or something that might be in there. Okay, so I would say that our egg is ready to come out. So like I said, gently lift. Look at that beautiful bright yellow. And then I'm gonna grab my egg and go like this. And I mean, if you're wanting to use gloves, this is why. Always be careful with your flame as well. So we're just gonna dab, 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 dab till it's dry. Oh, see, I got wax on there by accident. One of those wax mistakes. But I can almost incorporate it into my design. And just so you know, if you didn't already know, you're going to be removing all the wax after. So it might look kind of gross right now, but that's okay, because when you put it in the oven later to remove all the wax, that'll all disappear. Okay, so our next thing, our egg is pretty much dry. And now you can, again, do your next step. So on our next step, we're going to be drawing on the black, because the gray is what we already have. And then we're gonna dip it into, I don't have any pink, so we're gonna do the red. All right, so we have now done our second set of wax designs. So now what you're gonna do is you are going to submerge it into the red. And gently put it in. You can wait for about 30 seconds. And just make sure, I can't stress enough that you need to follow your sequence of colors. So you're starting with light to dark. It's really hard or almost impossible to go from dark to light. So make sure that you're following that. So right now you could do, because we did yellow, you could do light green, orange, red. So I'm going with the light red right now. And then our next color we're gonna do is violet. All right. It's almost been 30 seconds. Let's check how our egg's doing. Oh yes, look at how beautifully red that is. Okay, well, it's about ready to take out. When you're using good quality dye, it doesn't take too long. So again, you're just patting. I'm gonna get another paper towel here, just to avoid getting it entirely on my fingers. Okay. So you can see that there's the yellow now on your piece. Okay, so now once that's completely dry, we're going to do a little bit more designs, and then we're gonna dip it into the purple. So next up, if you're following along with this, we're gonna do the details that are black right now. Some more flowers and more traditional symbols. Okay, so we've applied another layer of wax, just small details like little dots and things like that. And now you're going to submerge it in your last color. So you shouldn't ever really do more than 4 colors. Even when you're starting out, I would start with just even doing 2 colors. Okay. So we'll let that sit for at least 30 seconds to see how it's gonna turn out. Woo! So the red and the purple. So some colors mix well, some of them don't. Don't mix pink and green. That's definitely to avoid. I think it's especially because green is kind of like a cranky color, so it's best used for small areas. And so if you're using a small area, if you have Q-tips and you just wanna dip it into your ink and apply it to your egg in small areas, do it that way. So then you can achieve your color that way. So once this is done, I'm gonna show you guys how to, oh my gosh, look at how beautiful that is. Oh, I love it. Okay, so our next step is just learning how to remove the wax from our completed Pysanky. Okay, so the final step to creating our Pysanky eggs is to remove the wax. So to do that, what you're gonna do is turn on your oven to a very low temperature, so about 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you're gonna place your egg that has the wax on it on a piece of folded up paper towel, and then you're going to place it on a cookie sheet. You're gonna place your egg onto that, and then you're going to put it in the oven for about 7 to 10 minutes. So not very long at all. You're gonna not walk away from the oven, okay? You wanna make sure that you're watching it because you don't want to heat up the wax too much because beeswax is quite flammable. So you wanna be careful with doing this. So you're just going to heat it up enough that the wax melts off onto your paper towel, and then you can take it out of the oven, and then you can use your paper towel just to rub off any excess wax, and then you have created your beautiful Pysanky egg. So you can see mine, I even did a little something with my wax mistakes and just added a little something to my egg, so you can see how beautiful it turned out, all the colors and the beautiful Ukrainian folk designs. So I hope that you enjoyed yourself and that you create dozens of eggs with dozens of beautiful motifs and symbols, and then maybe one day you'll get just as good as the woman that donated these to us, and you'll be able to do intricate designs like this one day. So please do share all the work that you're doing at home. We love to see your photos, so either do #TimmonsMuseum, or you can even send it to us on our Facebook Messenger, and even post a photo underneath one of our ads for the Pysanky workshop. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Happy Easter.